A world-renowned speaker, a scholar, a teacher, and a leader of the community, Sayyid Mohammed Baqer Qazwini was born into the scholarly Qazwini family. He is the grandson of His Eminence Ayatollah Sayyid Murtada Qazwini and the son of Sayyid Hassan Qazwini. He finished his BA in sociology from Michigan and has studied 10 years at the Islamic Seminary in Qom. Now a scholar, Sayyid Baqir has devoted his time in spreading the true message of Islam in America at the Islamic Institute of America and outside America, while being a role model for everyone in the community. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nothing But Beauty with Malihe. This time I am absolutely honored to invite one of my dear teachers, Sayyid Mohammed Baqer Qazwini. Sayyidna, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from the holy land of Najaf, the land of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. It is also my great honor to be with you on this program today.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Sayyidna, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of my podcast. May Allah bless you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So, Sayyidna, I am someone who looks up to you for akhlaq whenever I feel low, whenever I see hypocrisy or envy or anything else in the community, and you know that. But I wanted to ask you, what can you share about akhlaq through the lens of Karbala? What can Karbala teach us about good akhlaq?
First of all, I appreciate your sincere statements about that. Though I may not be deserving of them, I'm just a small student of knowledge, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inspire me with greater akhlaq. How can we look at akhlaq from the lens of Karbala? When I examine the legacy of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala, I truly see a university based on akhlaq. Karbala was not just a battle between good and evil. It was actually a battle between morality and immorality, akhlaq and no akhlaq, between that which is ethical and that which is not ethical. In every step of the way, when you examine the legacy of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala, you see the values of akhlaq being embodied by Imam Hussein alayhi salam. For instance, one of the very important values of akhlaq that we have is honesty. To be honest with those around you. Islam is based on honesty. We have so many hadiths that tell us if you really want to know a Muslim, a good Muslim from a Muslim who may not be a genuine Muslim, see if they're honest. See if they're truthful and honest. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when I examine Karbala and the night of Ashura, one of the most profound moments that shake me to the core is on the night of Ashura when he gathered his companions. Now, when you're surrounded by at least 30,000 enemies, and you know you're going to be massacred, and you know your family is going to be attacked, your greatest priority is to get more support. You want more men to fight. That is the priority of every military commander. Imam Hussein alayhi salam does the exact opposite on the night of Ashura. He tells his companions that these evil people are here for me. They want my head. They want to kill me. And I will confirm to you that tomorrow I will be killed, and whoever stays with me will be killed. So do you want to stay or no? If you don't want to stay, you can leave. And the Imam alayhi salam, he turns off the candle so they don't feel embarrassed in leaving, because now it's dark, you can quietly leave. That's another lesson in akhlaq of the Imam alayhi salam. Even though they will be abandoning him, he's giving them the permission to leave, but he still doesn't want them to feel bad about it. That's just on another level. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam displays honesty here. He doesn't sugarcoat the battle and tell them, let's stay here. Tomorrow we're going to win. Inshallah, we win through our small numbers, but great courage. We're going to defeat the army. No, no. The Imam is very honest with his people, with his companions. He tells them, if you stay, you're going to get killed. That's just the reality. So you decide whether you want to stay or not. That is an amazing lesson in honesty. Be honest with your people. Don't deceive them. Don't give them false impressions of what's going on. And this is something that sometimes we're tried with. Sometimes we're not honest with our family members, with our friends, with our communities, or with the whole world. Now, normally when we think of, truth, we go to the bigger scale, like media and what's happening. Today, a massacre is happening in Gaza, right? And there's a lot of censorship on that in Western media, to an extent, of course. Yes, that is an example of deception, sure. But remember, that deception starts with the nafs, with the individual. And the story of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is liberate yourself from dishonesty. Liberate yourself from anything that's immoral. So truly, when I look at Karbala, I see countless and endless lessons in akhlaq. Honesty is just one of them. Humbleness is another one. We have a tendency to be arrogant. I feel like I'm better than others, especially for the religious people, right? Those people who are in religious circles, sometimes, and I know you've noticed that, sister, that they act that they're holier than thou, and they cannot be questioned. They cannot be criticized. You don't see that in the legacy of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. In fact, when you look at the conversations he had with his enemies, he allowed them to question anything. He never came out and said, look, I'm an imam, you have to obey me, no questions asked. I'll tell you why I'm here. You wrote to me. I want to establish justice. He had honest conversations with them. Any question they would pose, the Imam would answer it. The Imam did not give them the impression that I'm better than you, I'm superior to you. The Imam, as a human being, stood before them face to face and had an honest conversation with them. And he truly wanted them to avoid committing the evil act of killing him, because he knew that God would condemn them to hell if they were to do that. And that's a beautiful lesson in humbleness. And when you look at his relationship with his companions, even though he's their imam and their leader, but the Imam alayhi salam treated them as if they were just like him, if they were one of his own, family members. So truly, Karbala is a beautiful university in akhlaq, in honesty, in forgiveness, forgiving others. That's one very important moral trait that Islam highly recommends. Normally, we find it difficult to forgive our friends and family when they wrong us. Even that, it's difficult. Islam says, look, your friend and family, it's a given you have to forgive them. It's your enemy that many times you should also forgive, and you should also be merciful to. And I'll never forget that scene when Imam Hussein alayhi salam arrives in Iraq in a place called Dhu Hussein, which is not too far from Kufa, Karbala. Let's say maybe 30, 40, 50 miles away from that. The Imam alayhi salam initially had access to water, and the jugs that were with him and his companions were filled. Now, the army of Hur arrives. They were dispatched by the governor of Kufa, Ibn Ziyad, to block Imam Hussein from going to Kufa. That was their goal. So your enemy here is to block you. He's to stop you from your mission. Imam Hussein notices that they're extremely thirsty. It was hot. They came from a long way, and they did not have access to the river, whereas the Imam did have access. You know what the Imam did? That's just a beautiful lesson in akhlaq. Not only did the Imam give them water, he realized their horses were also, struggling from the heat and thirst. So he sprayed their horses with water. One of those men, Ali ibn Ta'an al-Muharibi, he comes to see the Imam. Now, because he was struggling with thirst, he couldn't see well. He was like disoriented. His vision was blurry. The Imam gave him the jug of water to drink. He started to spill the water. When you're so thirsty and you can't see well, you get disoriented, you lose your balance. He couldn't figure out how to drink properly from the jug, because those jugs, you had to tilt them in a certain way and squeeze them in a certain way for the water to come out. They would make them that way so they don't spill on long journeys. So he couldn't figure out how to drink it. And when he would finally open, the lid of it, it would spill on him. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam gave him instructions. He told him, this is how you have to tilt it for you to drink. He still couldn't figure it out. Finally, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, with his own blessed hand, he takes the jug, he opens it, and he feeds him the water. That's akhlaq. That's just on another level. Your enemy, that man is your enemy. He's here as a soldier to stop you, to fight you. Yet you give him water in that way. We can go on for not hours. We can go on for days and weeks and months examining every step Imam Hussein took from Medina to Mecca, from Mecca to Iraq to Karbala, and how every moment of it was a lesson in akhlaq. So really, Karbala, if you want to summarize it in one word, it is akhlaq. It's the battle of akhlaq, the victory of akhlaq, the victory of ethics and morals over unethical standards and immorality. That's what Karbala boils down to.
Oh man, as you said, that's on a whole another level. I myself, Sayyidna, I believe I've mentioned this to you before, that I came back to the faith exactly 5 years ago this May. And the journey has been very, 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 very difficult. There have been times when, because of people's akhlaq, let me be straight up honest and say, because of the akhlaq of some of our Shia brothers and sisters, mashallah, that I think, you know what, why the hell am I even here? Things were so much better when I didn't have any of these people in my circle. Do I get thoughts of leaving again? Absolutely, 1000%, 1000%. But then I remind myself of the akhlaq of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And then I tell myself, man, like that man did not get killed in Karbala for no reason. There's a profound reason why that man was killed so brutally in Karbala. So, Imam, fine, I'll stay because of you. But it's been tough. It's been absolutely tough. But I think that this is why we look up to Aba Abdallah for encouragement, as difficult as it is. My next question is, how do we even know if we truly learned akhlaq from Karbala as people who claim to follow Aba Abdallah alayhi salam?
The concern that you have raised is a very serious and valid concern. I would like to share just a quick thought on that before we address the question on how do I know that I am aligned with the akhlaq of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that in the past 5 years after you returned to the faith and to the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, you have been struggling with the akhlaq of some, unfortunately, brothers and sisters around you.
Yes.
One thing I would like to share with you is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees that you are on your journey to grow spiritually and to increase your faith, Allah tries you and holds you to a tougher standard. Not because Allah wants you to suffer. To the contrary, because Allah wants to give you a greater opportunity to rise through the ranks and achieve the highest levels. So one of the trials Allah would give someone who is finding his way to faith is to surround him or her with people who have difficult akhlaq. Because that is one of our trials in this world. And that's why Allah has given us the examples of the prophets and the imams. The imams and prophets didn't only struggle with their enemies, they struggled with their own people. Look at the Quran. It tells you every single prophet of Allah struggled with his own people.
Sure.
Ya qawm, my people. In fact, their own family members. The prophet struggled with his own family. Abu Lahab, his uncle, condemned him. And in fact, one of the vicious things Abu Lahab would do is when people would come and they would be interested in hearing the Prophet, he would tell them, look, he's my nephew. I know him better than you. He's crazy. He's insane. Can you imagine how much that hurts an average person, let alone a prophet? But Abu Lahab is the uncle of the Prophet. He suffered from his own family members. And then we know the trouble that he had with some of his wives. Surah Al-Tahrim tells us about the conspiracy that two of his wives made. You have people from your own family in your own house causing you headaches. That's a lesson for us that, look, you'll be surrounded with people who are not going to show you good akhlaq, but that's your trial in this dunya. Allah wants you to expose yourself to that and be patient so you go to the highest levels, because that's how you build yourself. See, if I'm put in a rosy environment, nothing ticks me off. Where's the trial? That's like going to first grade. Do I want to be stuck in first grade to the rest of my life? In fact, that's an insult. Imagine if you have a bright student who has good potential. The teachers tell him, look, Habibi, there's no reason why you need to go and suffer in middle school and high school and primary school and secondary school and then go to college and university. Stay in first grade for the rest of your life. It's a piece of cake. Would you accept that?
Oh man, Sayyidna.
It's nice, it's easy, but would you accept that?
No.
See, the thing is, the dilemma is, the irony is, when it comes to the trials with Allah, a lot of the things we complain about boils down to us wanting to be stuck in first grade. Ya Allah, keep me in first grade. I don't want that trial. I don't want to be dealing with that nasty akhlaq person and this. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He surrounds you with that, Allah now took you to a higher grade. Allah is basically sending you a message. I've given you good potential. You can deal with that. You can be a stronger human being. In fact, that's where you train yourself to have good akhlaq. That's your gym. We have the physical gym, we have the moral gym. That's your moral gym. Because how do you test your anger? How do you test your sincerity? By being surrounded with people who have difficult akhlaq. If I'm surrounded by good people and good akhlaq, then where's my arena? Where am I going to train myself? It's tough. It's definitely tough. I do acknowledge that it's very tough.
Oh my goodness. But now, how do we, including myself as well? Now, I'm not saying that I'm someone with the best akhlaq. Absolutely not. I have my slips as well. But how do we truly know if we, who claim to follow Aba Abdallah alayhi salam, who claim to follow the truth, how do we know if we have truly learned akhlaq from Karbala?
It's very easy for anyone to claim that they follow anything. Today, there are 1.8 billion Muslims who claim to follow who? Even someone who's greater than Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa 1.8 billion Muslims, that's their claim, that I follow Quran, I follow the Prophet. It's very easy to make claims. And unfortunately, the same applies to our school of thought. There are people who claim to follow Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the akhlaq of Imam Hussein, but that's not the truth. That's not the reality. So how can we guarantee that we're always aligned with the akhlaq of Imam Hussein and we don't fall into this trap that many people fall into? They think they follow the Imam, but in reality, they're not following the Imam practically. So what do we do? Number one, we need a system of self-evaluation every single day. That's why Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, the seventh Imam of Ahlul Bayt, he famously stated, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يُحَاسِبْ نَفْسَهُ فِي كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ. The Imam says, you're not one of us, meaning you're not one of our true followers, if you don't hold yourself accountable, if you don't reckon yourself, if you don't judge yourself every single night. If I want to align myself with Karbala, every single night before you sleep, you have to have a 5-minute activity. You can do it mentally on a piece of paper, on your smartphone. It doesn't matter, but you need to go through this process. Review your day and ask yourself today, did I reflect the akhlaq of Imam Hussein? Was I forgiving or was I a bully? Was I honest or did I lie? Did I deceive anyone? Did I hurt anyone? Every single night, you have to ask yourself these serious questions. That will reveal to you whether you are aligned with the akhlaq of Imam Hussein. And I'll even add this is very practical. If you really want to know whether you're aligned with the akhlaq of Imam Hussein, imagine in your mind if Imam Hussein today from morning till night was standing next to you and just watching. How would you feel about that day? Would you be embarrassed or would you be proud? If your honest, genuine answer is, I would be proud that Imam Hussein saw me going through these different trials and I passed them, okay, may Allah bless you. I'm very happy to hear that. But if your answer is, no, Sayyid, there are moments I can feel proud of, sure. I said no to shaitan, no to my ego, alhamdulillah. But there are a lot of moments where I would be ashamed if Imam Hussein was literally standing next to me and watching how I deal with others. If that's the answer, that means I'm not fully aligned yet. A true mu'min is the one who keeps aligning himself with the values of Karbala until you get to the point where if Imam Hussein would be accompanying you throughout your day, you would be at peace. You would not feel ashamed. Yes, we always have a feeling of shortcoming. Obviously, when you're before Allah and He's examining you, or you're before an infallible Imam, obviously, even if you do the best of the best, you still feel nothing before the Imam. Sure, we need to maintain that level of humbleness. Don't feel arrogant. But there are things that we feel ashamed of. So if I have things to be ashamed of during my day, if Imam Hussein were literally standing next to me, that means I'm still not fully aligned with Karbala. So I invite myself and my dear brothers and sisters around the world to implement this every day. Honestly, before you sleep, just ask your question. If Qasim, if Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, if Imam Hussein, if they were with me here today, how ashamed would I feel? The way I treated my family members, my brothers and my sisters, would Imam Hussein be proud of me or no? I think that's a very practical way to keep us in check every single day.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Sayyidna. And this is something that now I will implement in my life too, because man, like now that I think about it, what would I do if he is watching me right now physically? I got some things to check. Many things.
Look, as long as you're in the obedience of Allah, Imam Hussein's proud of you. If you're studying, helping mom and dad, reading Quran, earning halal income. Remember, earning halal income, according to a hadith, it's 9/10 of ibadah. So if you're in God's obedience, Imam Hussein is proud of you. If you're not sinning, you're not backbiting, you're not gossiping, Imam Hussein is proud of you. So I don't want this to sound, very scary to people. Oh, Imam Hussein, if he's around, I'd be intimidated. Look, if you're just in God's obedience, Imam Hussein is proud of you. It's not that hard. It's hard, but it's not impossible. Just stay focused, have a goal throughout your day, and make sure you're not violating the laws of God. That's all. If you've achieved that, Imam Hussein's proud of you. But it is a profound thought. It's a very profound thought.
It is. It definitely is. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sayyidna, and inshallah, I hope and inshallah, I pray that my viewers will also benefit from what you just shared. Now, I know that I had sent you some questions. There's one particular question that I really, really, really want to ask before we wrap up, because I know that your schedule is tight. So in 1966, there was someone named Anton LaVey who started the official first Church of Satan in California in 1966. And they believe that humans should be free however they are, that if you commit a sin, if you show hatred, if you show anger, if you show envy, realize that it's a part of human nature and be proud of it. Don't let religion tell you that you have no right to feel human and you have to be A, B, C, D, E, even when you don't feel like it. And so all of this was basically like a slap in the face of mainstream religion. That's why it was all started. We unfortunately live in a community where those who put on a religious show the most are the ones who are unfortunately sometimes the biggest frauds. And I'm being completely honest here. Like a saint outside, but a Satan inside. And this unfortunately can discourage people, especially our youth, to stay in the faith. And that was also my main reason why I left the faith as well. What do you think we should do about this as a community?
Indeed, that is a very, very serious challenge that is not new. It's existed since time immemorial, since the time of Prophet Adam alayhi salam until this very day. And this was actually the struggle of prophets and imams. People who acted saint-like, who acted religious, and in the name of religion, they committed some very serious crimes against humanity or some serious sins. In fact, once I was researching why people leave religion, and you briefly referred to this. You know, what is the source of atheism historically? And I examined Europe during the Renaissance, the Enlightenment period. What is it that made so many Europeans give up religion and give up the belief in God? Now, there are many factors that lead to atheism, but one very important factor is the failure of people who speak in the name of religion or the wrong actions of religious people. Today, if you want to know why Europe moved away from religion, it's because of the church in Rome, and the history of popes. Do you know that for 1,000 years, popes would get married, they had children, they had families. It's been 1,000 years that they stopped getting married. I think most people don't even know this today. Even Catholics don't even know this today. For 1,000 years, popes would get married after Isa alayhi salam. Now, why do you think the church stopped the pope from getting married? Are you aware of that?
Is it because they were committing adultery?
Well, but why stop them from getting married and have children, though?
I do not know.
One reason is they would have children, and then when the Pope dies, their father dies, the children go and all the resources and the funds and the money of the church, they would take it in the name of inheritance. Our dad died, we're going to inherit him. So the Catholic Church realized every few decades you've got a dilemma. You've got these children who come in the name of inheritance, who are acting so holy, and the children of the Pope, they steal all that money. So the church says, you know what? You're not getting married anymore. That way, when you die, nobody's going to inherit you. No children can inherit you. That was the reason. And this is mentioned in the Catholic Encyclopedia. These are official sources. You can research it. The popes would commit crimes. They would kill. Like you said, they would commit adultery. In fact, one of those popes, now I'm not here to launch an attack against the church in Rome. I'm just talking about history. One of the popes, you know how he was killed? A man goes, this is mentioned in the Catholic Encyclopedia. The husband goes to his house and he sees the Pope committing adultery with his wife. So he rages, he takes out a dagger and he kills the Pope. That's how the Pope died. They would commit all these crimes, and this pushed away so many people from religion. Now, yes, over the centuries, the church realized that this cannot continue, and a lot of that was changed. But this problem that you're mentioning is not a Muslim or Shia problem. It's a global problem. People in every religion, their misconduct, unfortunately, ends up pushing away a lot of people. The same happened with Islam. In fact, we talked about Imam Hussein. Why did he rise? Because a corrupt man like Yazid is saying, I'm Khalifatul Rasul. I'm the Khalifa, the successor to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Imams found this very offensive. You represent the Prophet? What do you know about the Prophet's akhlaq? You don't carry the Prophet's akhlaq. And the same thing happened within our school of thought. There are people who rule in the name of religion, or they speak in the name of religion, or they're in the clothing of religion. And like you said, they are tools of shaitan. And here's a critical point to understand why this happens. See, if the shaitan wants to deceive someone, the shaitan knows how to deceive you. The shaitan is not an idiot. Well, he is an idiot for disobeying God. At the end of the day, he's going to suffer. But in his tactics, he's not an idiot. He knows what works and what doesn't work. Today, if the shaitan comes and whispers to me, Mohammed Baqer, he's not going to tell me, Sayyid, get up and drink, get drunk. He doesn't even bother. Why does he not bother, sister? For some people, that's how he entices them. But for me, he's not going to come and tell me, get up and drink, go and smoke drugs. Why is he not going to do that to me? What do you think?
Because I respect you and I hold you with a high regard. I would say that maybe it's because he already knows that you're awakened, mashallah.
Not that I'm awakened, mashallah. Inshallah, that's the case. But he knows that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
He knows maybe with the level of faith that I have, or even because of my environment and surroundings and my role, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that. So he's not going to waste his time whispering to me, get up and drink, go and drink. Because he knows that's not going to work. I would never consider of doing that. So shaitan finds an avenue that does work. He looks at my circumstances. Okay, maybe honesty, deception. Who is he deceiving? Is he deceiving his followers, for instance? Or people have entrusted him with his secrets, maybe with money, with, a family's honor. People trust us for that. So the shaitan here whispers to me. Here shaitan finds a window. Oh, okay, maybe you're running a charity, your families are running a charity, and people have given you some funds. Yallah, you need it, use it for yourself. That's a window shaitan can come, Or other types of windows, like arrogance. Oh, I studied, I reached the state, I have this knowledge, I'm better than other people. That's how shaitan comes to someone like me. Now, one of the tools shaitan uses to deceive people is religious people themselves. He uses them as tools for deception because he knows the damage that they can do to society. Someone with my attire can do more damage than some average Joe who gets drunk. Okay, who listens to the average Joe who gets drunk? Very few people listen to him. His impact is very limited. But someone who's in a social position, political position, or religious position, this person has more impact to do damage. So that's why the shaitan focuses his efforts on people like that, to turn them from saints into Satans, as you said, as tools of deception. So this is one of the trials that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tries us with. And if you look at the prophets, you will find people who were close to them who made people deviate. Samiri, in the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam, he was one of the people of Prophet Musa, but he's the one who deceived them. He created the golden calf and he made them deviate. It's people like that who make you deviate. So that's why. Now you could say, but how can I protect myself? That's why Imam Ali alayhi salam says so beautifully, sister, know the haqq not through men. Know the haqq not through men, but know the haqq through what it's worth. Know the haqq, and then you'll find who are the people of the haqq, who are the men of haqq. If I base my deen on people, when those people do wrong, I'm going to lose my deen. I'm going to doubt my deen. My core values is Quran, the Prophet, the Imams, the haqq, that's it. Everyone else out there can potentially help me get there, or sometimes they can block me. So I never should tie my deen around any other fallible human being, because whoever they are, even if they're saint-like, they may slip or they may turn out to be evil. The Imams warned us of evil scholars. There will be evil scholars throughout history who will misguide people. The Prophet and the Imams warned the Muslim Ummah from them. So always know the truth, know the inherent value of the truth, and then build your life around the truth, not around people. That is what we learn from the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Because otherwise, we will risk losing our faith when the religious people act badly.
I remember talking to Sheikh Shumali. I had mentioned some of my spiritual struggles with Agha Shumali, and he said something so beautiful. He said, uh, if you, he said, come to the faith because of the faith itself, not because of people. Because if you're going to come to the faith because of someone, you're going to leave the faith because of someone.
Exactly. And
And
that
that
is
has stuck with me.
and that's the statement from Imam Ali alayhi salam. He just worded it differently, but that's exactly what the Imam is saying. Don't come to faith because of people, because then those same people can push you away.
1,000%, 1,000%. And that is my daily reminder. And that is my daily reminder whenever I feel like, you know what, it's just getting so difficult. Let's go back to being whatever that I was before. But then I'm here now. I'm here now, and I want to finish the journey because I've lived a good chunk of my life on the other side. And I know through experience that it's nothing there. It's just empty promises and empty glitters and whatever have you. So I'm here now. We all need
Alhamdulillah.
du'as.
And be infinitely grateful to Allah that you are here. Alhamdulillah. It's a blessing
Truly,
that Allah gave you that light of guidance.
truly, Sayyidina, truly. But sometimes I have my moments where I just feel like I didn't know it was going to be this difficult.
I know, a believer goes through this journey. Sometimes you don't know when's the next strike gonna come, where is it gonna come from, and
Mhm.
how heavy it is. But every morning when we wake up, thank Allah for the blessings He's given us, and then tell yourself, I'm ready. Because see, the beauty of why you can feel safe with Allah, you may not be able to explain what's going on around you or why you're going through this trial, but you do know one thing: you have the best coach, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you wake up one day and you get hit with this very hard trial, you do know that there's wisdom in it for you. It's an opportunity for you to spiritually, intellectually, and morally grow. So a good coach is not one who tells his, team, okay, go and eat pizza and just enjoy yourself. That's not a good coach. A good coach is one who makes his team suffer to keep them fit and to have them win. But that's out of the mercy of a good coach. If a good coach really cares about his team, he wants them to be the best of the best. Allah is my coach and He's your coach and He's the coach of everyone. And so when Allah allows you to go through these trials, in fact, feel honored. Stand up and say, Ya Allah, this is hard, but I'm honored that you are giving me this trial. That means you think highly of me. You don't think that I'm a first grader. You are giving me a higher test because you see the potential in me. Because if Allah keeps me at first grade, that means Allah thinks low of me.
Mm.
Or He doesn't see any potential in me. But the fact that Allah is trying you with a harder test, that's His way of telling you, look, I've given you a higher standard. You can achieve that. That's your potential. I think highly of you. You can do it. Feel honored. A student who gets accepted to go to Harvard or McGill, is that the best university in Canada?
It's
Or one of the best?
one of the best.
Okay, one of the best. If you get an acceptance letter to Harvard or Yale or Princeton or McGill or to any of these universities, as a student, do you get happy or sad?
I'd feel honored.
You'd feel honored, but wait a minute, you're going to suffer. I've spoken to students who have gone to Harvard. Believe me, they suffer. The partying, that has to stop a lot. Sleepless nights, especially some of those competitive programs, those universities will make you suffer for 4 or 6 years of your life. Especially imagine somebody going to law school, medical school at these top universities. It's suffering, but the student feels honored. He goes and he actually throws a party that I got accepted at Harvard. Why? celebrating that you're going to suffer for the next 4 years of your life because you realized that this university saw the potential in you and you're ready for that hard path. That's the beauty of life. Take that and apply it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When He gives you that next level trial that you never thought would be coming, that's Allah's acceptance letter, sending it to you, telling you, I've accepted you for that higher trial. Feel honored. Don't feel deflated. That's how I understand it from the Quran and the legacy of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you so much, Sayyidina. I'm blessed to have God, and I'm blessed to have teachers like yourself, MashaAllah, who
Thank you.
keep
I'm
me
just a
sane
small
whenever I
student.
feel.
Thank you.
Well, Sayyid Baqer, thank you so very much once again for your time. And may Allah bless you. All of my du'as for you and yours, and please do not forget us in your du'as as well.
Thank you. It has been my honor to be with you on this podcast today. I will keep you and my brothers and sisters around the world in my du'as here close to the shrine of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And inshallah, you and others will have the opportunity to come to ziyarah again. I know you came last year or a year and a half ago. Inshallah, you will come again for the ziyarah. And it's tough, but Allah gives us the spiritual energy to continue. And my final statement is, remember, we have an Imam of our time, Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajah. He's aware of our challenges. Connect to him, speak to him daily, and that will give you an infinite source of energy to deal with life challenges.
Thank you, Ahsan. Thank you so very much, Sayyidina. And I'm also going to leave a link to the charity of your grandfather. May Allah bless him, for our people to donate, inshallah.